ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Elmore deep, left side three is good! From 30 feet, John Elmore!
The Drive with Paul Swann.
Welcome into the Monday, June 10th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. It's Monday. That means we're at the Union Pub and Grill. That's right. Every Monday, we're here at the Union Pub and Grill in Huntington. You can always join us for the Monday special. We have got $1.50 bottles. We've got $2 call shots. We've got Dave Walsh, young Thundering Herd quarterback, emeritus.
Yes, emeritus.
Or former.
And sportscaster of the year in the talk show field.
Okay,
that's you.
We're
that's you.
We're off to a good start.
That's you. Hey,
we are glossing each other. We are extolling each other's virtues. I mean, we are basically telling each other how great we are.
That's right.
That's what you're going to get for an hour here of us just telling everyone how great we are.
Click.
And you can join the program as well. 877.
There's a lot to talk about. You've been doing some research.
I got some stuff here.
You can baseball, drafting people.
I got to tell them the numbers, though, if they want to join. Okay.
All right, go right ahead.
All right. Enjoy your tasty beverage here. 877-420-TALK, brought to you by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, whole true great taste, only 96 calories. It's the original light beer. Yeah, we got baseball to get into. We got everything we possibly can, of course. The one thing with Marshall Baseball is, if you saw it on Twitter, and if you haven't yet, Elvis Peralta signing with the Oakland squad.
Yeah.
That's right. He's an Oakland A now. He's an athletic.
Is you want your chance. I mean, Kyler Murray could have been with Kyler, but Kyler opted to go for the NFL and a little more money.
I think he's got a great chance.
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to be top level, because it's very hard to be top level. But if he can stick in the system, and if he can work his way up, I think he's going to be a really great prospect.
And the big thing is get your foot in the door, and the A's gave him a chance. Now it's up to him.
Good steal for them.
Now it's up to him, yeah. So, and we got enough Marshall guys of late doing well. I saw last week when Hammer got called up to Philadelphia, I believe it was. Headlines were like, to drop the hammer. He's got called up to Philly and did well. So, some of the guys that Coach Wagner had doing okay out there.
The headline machine was working well over at the Herald-Dispatch that day.
Hammer drops. I mean, that's original. That's original. I don't think that was Timmy's fault, though.
Timmy doesn't write those headlines.
No, that's across the room.
Okay, so across the room, they write the headlines, and it's not the author of the story itself.
But a lot of times you'll hear about it. You will hear about it. How could – and then you go, I had nothing to do with it. They don't buy it. They just see your name and everything and they associate with it.
Right.
And if something's said on your station, you hear about it.
Yeah,
you had nothing to do with it.
Well, no.
But you're guilty by association.
If it's something I directly said, I'll hear about it. If it's something you said, I'll hear about it. If it's a commercial that played, I'll hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll hear about it. It's okay. That's fine. You can let me hear about it on Twitter at Paul Swann.
Right.
At Paul Swann. I will be answering those tweets between now and 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I'll shut the laptop down and then move on.
That's right.
Then I'll open the phones. I'll open the phone up later.
There we go.
I don't sit there. Maybe I should. I don't sit there all day on my phone. I don't have time.
I know.
I don't sit there on my phone all day. I don't have Tweet Deck up on my computer with filters all over the place, keeping a monitor on everything that's going on.
Yeah, and your fellow employees walking down the halls like
no,
this.
not doing that.
No. I've got a better way to do things.
Yeah, I have Bill Cornwell.
There you go.
I have a Cornwell. That's what I have.
Across the room.
Exactly. Bill's doing all that for me.
Dollar Bill.
Yeah.
How is Dollar Bill?
Dollar Bill's good.
I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, he's good. You didn't see him Thursday last week because he didn't feel good.
Not
so
again.
He's fine now.
Okay.
He's fine. Yeah, you knew that he didn't feel good if he wasn't going to come see Jim Birmingham, who was in town last week.
Yeah, that was last Monday when you had him on. That was very well. Just think, you were hurt in Canada last Monday.
I was hurt in Canada. I was hurt internationally.
That's right.
And so
it was great to relive some of those things.
Yeah, it was.
He's taking those pictures over there with the front of the jersey.
Yeah, I pointed that out to him, and of course, that's the cool thing here about the Union Pub and Grill is you might find something. You might find something you haven't seen on the wall.
He remembers seeing it, I think.
I just don't know where Herb stores all this stuff because this is a complete collection. It's not. He's got it maybe in an attic somewhere up here. But, that was fun.
It was fun, and then they had a little get-together Thursday. And
Yeah.
a group of people showed up. You were there.
I was there.
You came in.
I'm not trying to poo-poo on it, but I was surprised there weren't more people there.
Yeah,
I don't think Burmy did a good enough job getting the word out.
But it was still a good crew.
Yeah, it was good.
And the fun thing is just sit back and listen to the stories. Listen. I mean, you generated quite a few with him here and some other things, and it was just fun to listen to the
How
stories.
did I not get Buck Cruz not to pay for my meal?
I don't know.
Did you have to pay for your meal?
I only got something to drink.
Oh, so you were wise.
I left it with Bernie,
Right.
But no. You think, Buck, please.
Come on, Buck.
You own the town.
Come on, yeah. Basically, you own the town. Pay for my meal here. No,
Yeah.
I got to.
You were pressing Bernie. Can we have something across the street to say? And we know it ain't. We know odds are it's not going to happen. We'd love to see it
It's
happen.
a great pipe dream.
Yeah, but no.
It's a fantasy. It
Yeah.
really is.
Fantasy
Hockey's not coming back.
Yeah. Now baseball, probably a different story a couple years from now when the ballpark's fruition.
Baseball should.
We could have tonight when you get done. You could be heading down to staff the game, cover the game, announce the game. Who knows?
No, that'll be Steve Cotton's job. Steve Cotton's the voice of the herd, and Steve Cotton is the baseball expert.
Right.
You ever listen to him do baseball?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he comes up with some of those facts.
I mean, on the Twitter account, you look and it's like, where does this come from?
He
is a walking history book like Woody.
He out Woody's Woody.
Out Woody.
When it comes to baseball, I'm sure there have been times where Woody Woodrum has sat there, just looked up like,
what?
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
So Steve does a fantastic job doing
baseball.
baseball.
He's probably done his homework now because you know what's around the corner.
So you get to have the voice of the herd all happy because he's going to be able to do more baseball games.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have very far to go.
No.
To do it. Just walks across the street.
It's a great venture for Marshall here in the next few years, and for Huntington as well.
Yeah.
This will be great.
I mean, we're the only city without a ballpark. Pretty much in the state.
That's getting rectified.
And we'll have it. And the way Mike talks is they're doing their best to outdo everybody that's got one. And you saw the one on TV up in Morgantown. That's the first time I've seen it, and it looked pretty nice.
I think if you're going to do it, you do it right.
Right.
It's not, hey, we're trying to outdo you. It's just like, look.
You just want to do a job.
We just want to do it the best. We just want the best. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're going to put.
When you wait forever.
Yeah, we want the best. It's
right.
not. It's because you know what? That was great for the state, I think.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't end well for West Virginia, that was great for the state.
I did not know they lost. I'm watching, and they're ahead, and then I change the channel, come back, and all of a sudden it flashes up, A&M, and gets yellow, and I went, what? And then I saw what happened. I went, oh my gosh! Not only do a walk-off slam. What a way to end your season. Woo!
I don't know if that's more devastating than losing maybe
especially when
in
you
the next
had
game.
9-1 lead with 3 innings to go, you lose. I mean, whoa.
It's pretty devastating.
Yes.
But the good news is I think they'll be back.
Right.
So there's no worries there.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing. It's just like with Coach Wagner down at this Conference USA tournament. He had some pitching issues after your starter. You kind of, you just hope. And once you go to it's what they call the losers bracket, you watch the teams on TV now, they just run out of pitching. They just teams last night are just running out of arms. Unless it's the Vanderbilt guy throwing a no-hitter, was pretty impressive.
When you get to a point where you can recruit to the stadium, you're going to get some more arms,
yes.
I think.
Yes. I mean, Coach Wagner says, you drop somebody in here and they see that and they'll go, what do I sign? What do I sign?
And once you get this thing established, maybe you start hosting a couple of tournaments. State tournament, you host possibly a Conference USA tournament once.
Did you see a state baseball here?
It would be nice. Get everything in order. You get your house in order, it could happen.
Down the road when it comes up for bid. Football, I
would.
don't think so, but
I'd
baseball,
bid for it.
I'd make a run for it.
I'd bid for it, yeah.
It's at the time of year you're done in June, and whenever they have it in Charleston, that's always when they're out of town.
I think you make a bid for it because let's be honest.
You have adequate housing now.
Unless Marshall's going to be undefeated in Conference USA,
right.
they're not getting regional anytime soon.
You've got 2 nice redone hotels. You've got the campus, and you've got all the other places. You've got plenty of housing for people.
I have not been in the new DoubleTree. Have you?
No. Or the other one that's the former Holiday Inn, which is something else, and it's also something out there at Barboursville.
I've not been out there recently.
But I think Burmy stayed there one night, but the floor he was on was not.
Are you sure?
Are you
sure? Because if you followed him on social media, I don't think he stayed anywhere other than the streets of Huntington. I mean, he's not here now, so I'm not picking on him. But
that's right.
Yeah, former hockey player. He comes into town and he just goes on a tour of. he does touristy things, and
Yeah.
he's hitting every bar in the city.
Because I think when he left here last week, he was back to somewhere.
Yeah, I said I'm not picking on him though. I'm trying not to, but that was.
I know one thing. He told me he had a great time here. Had a great time. Well, I guess for lack of better, going down memory lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he you look at his record and his abilities. He goes down in history as one of the greatest all-time ECHL players.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
And
I did not realize that until I saw this video.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of
He
Fame.
went in this year in Toledo. I mean, that must have been hard to go.
I think he's 10th all-time in scoring.
Yeah. I mean, you go in Toledo, that's a place that you really didn't have much fun with.
Right.
And that's where you're inducted.
And
With that, I'm sure he goes, I don't care.
And if he
I'll
would
do
have,
it.
if he'd have played more, because he was called up a few times to the next level. He didn't make the NHL. Really, not an NHLer, but he flirted with that. And of
It
course,
was always out there, but
Yeah.
it just never.
it didn't come to fruition for
A
him.
lot of times, he would be the first or the coach, Grant to go. It's a numbers game.
And then he goes into
It's a
coaching
numbers
for a
game.
little bit, and then he steps down from that, and then he goes into youth hockey for a year, and then that didn't work out for him because he wanted to coach the kids, have fun, and you have these
Mom and dads,
oh gosh.
Mr. and Mrs. Gretzky.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry, he's
You know
not.
what? It's
He's
okay.
not them.
Yes, we know your son's better. We know your daughter's better.
But
We're playing youth sports here. We're playing youth sports.
there's no cup up here you're going to
We're
drink out
good.
of when it's over.
We're good. Let the kids have some fun, please.
How many times have you seen that at all levels? You go to baseball,
It's ridiculous.
soccer, and it's just like
It's ridiculous.
I've said for years, I just would, to heck with covering something, just sit there and listen and write a book on what goes on in the stands. 'Cause I felt sorry for the kids at times. Really did.
Well, it's because there's pressure to win. If you don't win, you're no
You
good.
go home, and then if you lose and you go home that night, are they going to talk to me?
Look,
It's tough.
I get it, and then we got multi-million-dollar industry of college athletics, which
Right.
is multi-million, probably flirting with a couple billion here, or at least lots of numbers.
Yes, and then the players that are always arguing, they use us, and we get nothing. We get a scholarship and a little house money, but not what the university's making.
The university's making a lot of money,
No.
and because they're making a lot of money, there's that competitive edge. It's not a situation where you're out there, you're playing athletics. It's good for the student athlete. It is, okay, this is bringing income into the
Right.
university. And then you have to spend that income to go generate more income by way of having facilities, because it doesn't end. You can't rest on your laurels.
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading the other day, University of Alabama's getting ready to do something. A lot of their other places have remodeled. They've done some work here.
Right.
And another day, I think was on one of their websites, they had somebody rated the conference facilities for football.
Yes.
Did you see who's number one?
I saw that, but I had issue with that. Not because of Marshall's number one. I had issue with it because
Who was it? What were you issuing with?
my issue is that it was based on atmosphere,
Yeah.
and I want to know more. If you're going to rank college
Atmosphere.
game day atmosphere, Marshall, number one.
Right.
If you're going to rank facilities, let's have a conversation about facilities, because they didn't really have any negatives about the experience, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
There are some issues, as there are with every station.
Right.
So I mean, with every stadium, I'm not picking on Jones C. Edwards Stadium
Right.
here. It served Marshall well, but it's time to get in there and do some cleanup. And what I mean by that is, and this takes money, so it's not an issue of not wanting to, it's not being able to. But I'm sure eventually you're going to have to go in there and remodel those concourses.
something.
You're going to have to go in there eventually, remodel bathrooms and other things. And these are, I'm sure, on a facility plan as funding comes available and as it's needed. Because have you gone to the bathroom at Jones C. Edwards Stadium?
Not downstairs. Where we are.
That
we
answered
got-
my question right there. Not
On occasion, I
downstairs.
have like turf ball or a few
Yeah.
things. Yeah, and it's like, I know what you're saying.
Right.
How long can you hold your breath?
And I'm trying to say that every stadium needs to do as much as possible for the fans that come in.
Right.
And I'm not saying let's make it a playground here,
But
let's make it fan-friendly.
Yeah, because I mean, they did lead one category. They led it, but then the other guy had a little bit of separate rankings. He had, I think, him sixth, something like that. I've only seen one other field, and it's not even there anymore. What Foreman Field looked like, what it's going to look like.
Right.
Other ones I've only seen on television. So,
I mean, the stadium opened up in 1991,
Yeah,
so let's not
that's
let's not beat it up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than 30 years old.
Right. And every facility needs renovation. Every facility eventually needs.
I mean, Rice is still playing in the stadium where the Super Bowl was played 50 years ago.
What kind of amenities do they have there?
Well,
Now,
how many times have we watched them on TV when Marshall was there and they come on 70 and you're going like, keep the camera low.
and here's the other thing, though.
Yeah.
Some stadiums, does that draw people in? Will that bring people in? And I don't know if Rice improving the facility is going to bring more Rice fans, whereas Marshall already has a good core of fans who show up. So you want to keep and retain them. Mm-hmm. And honestly, facilities, you have more amenities, they spend more money.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about this being a major industry, but at the end of the day, you have more opportunity for them to spend money. They're going to spend more money.
Right. Exactly.
And the savings come back to you.
Exactly.
We'll
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna
break
say,
time.
Yeah, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back. We're
All
here
right.
today at the Union Pub and Grill. Don't forget, every Monday, $2 call shots, $1.50 domestic bottles every Monday, all day, all night here at the Union Pub and Grill. We got more on the way. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're coming to you today from the Union Pub and Grill. Paul Swann, Dave Walsh with you. Our favorite spot on Mondays.
Exactly.
$2 call shots, $1.50 domestic bottles, and whatever the heck you're drinking for free.
It's not bad.
It's not
It
bad.
takes a long time for the foam to go away.
It's
I know
not
that.
bad.
I'm on the clock back there when they're pouring the draft back there.
Work that poor girl to
Poor
death.
girl's got the skate ladle and knocking
Every
the foam
every
out.
Monday, you're over there.
I know.
You're
And
just
yours
so
just
picky.
boom and go.
Yeah, mine's simple.
I know.
Because somebody's got to stay sober on this show.
Okay, we got stadiums now. What?
We got a lot of things here.
Mr. Pat, we have a Huntington guy who could have a championship tonight.
Patrick Patterson.
Toronto Raptors.
How about those Raptors? They could finish this thing out.
Did anybody see this coming? And, what's his name wasn't playing, and you go out there and win twice in Oakland, beating them twice, and you're thinking, and as you
the series
mentioned,
should be
he's
over.
playing tonight. He's coming back tonight, but I just don't know if Toronto's on a roll, buddy.
This
Kawhi Leonard picked the right team to go to for a year.
This series should be over.
Yeah.
It should be over because Game 4 has earned a 9.8 overnight rating for ABC, the lowest rating for a final since 2009.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah,
And you start at 9 o'clock tonight. Sorry.
and see, that's another thing. I know you've got East Coast, West Coast to contend with, but you're starting at 9 o'clock tonight.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
And it's
You're
going
trying
to
to
take 3
build.
hours.
You're trying to build this sport, and sure, the West Coast is going to get the benefit of this. East Coast maybe not so much, but you're trying to get kids to watch this.
Right.
And I'm not saying that kids are going to bed at 10 o'clock, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
Kids are going to bed.
That's right.
Parents
and
parents aren't putting up with this.
And if something's going to happen in the
Right.
game, it's going to be late. You're looking at midnight,
Right.
close to midnight.
Exactly. I'm not saying hockey's doing it any better because 8 o'clock's when they're going, give or take.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Different sport, though.
They don't. If you had the penalty box, whatever. Just like I think state baseball
Right.
tournament the other day, talking to Grant and Timmy. I think Hurricane and somebody played their game like an hour and 15 minutes. Each team had like 1 or 2 hits, and the guys threw strikes, and they made plays. And I said, that's my kind of game. 4 o'clock start, 5 o'clock you're done.
Now, here's what could happen. Kevin Durant comes back tonight. They've rebuilt him.
Yeah, I don't know what they did.
They've
but
made him faster, stronger, healthier.
Yeah.
They put the artificial implants in. I don't know. Kevin Durant comes back tonight, and then Golden State comes back, wins this series.
Well, if they
The
do
rating-
win tonight, they'll start talking. When they're going back to Oracle, 3-1, they can do it.
It's an elimination game tonight,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
people
yeah.
will tune in. KD's going to play tonight, so
Right.
people will tune in who want to keep an eye on this
And I
thing.
just wonder if there's anybody out there like the Dallas Cowboys used to be. You don't like them. How many people really want them to lose tonight? To just wait Golden State and some things. It's like if they lose, good. I'm happy they lost.
I think that's with anybody who
Yeah.
has won for a multiple
I mean, they
amount
won
of
4 out of
times.
5. I mean, hey, they had good players and good coaching, and then as you've said before, they stayed healthy. Now they've had some bumps and bruises, and it's caught up to them. Kevin misses, Klay Thompson, a few other pieces, and Steph Curry can't carry you completely from 40 feet out.
No. Now, this thing is being watched in Canada, though.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, they love it in Canada.
yeah.
And that's what the NBA wants because they're expanding the brand. They're expanding into international markets.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, Canada as a country has been captivated by the Toronto Raptors.
Exactly. Adam Silver's loving this. Commissioner, he's loving this. He'd love to give out the trophy tonight in Toronto.
Well, sure he would.
Yeah. And I think the other day I saw a scroll where they're going to play 2 or 3 games in Mexico next year. Some NBA games.
I can see that.
Headers. I mean, they're going around, and they're going overseas.
Well, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
You can do that.
It's a global game.
I would keep it in North America, though,
Yeah.
as far as my teams are concerned. I wouldn't try what the NFL's doing and going to London.
I mean, if I'm a season ticket holder of 8 games and 2 of them are played in on, I'm mad. I'm not happy about that.
Now, if you want to expand into Mexico, that's doable.
Yeah. But when you go to Wembley and some other places,
I mean, it's neat. It's a nice little concept here, but it's kind of, all right, we've seen this, done this.
Times?
Yeah, we've seen this, done that. Play it in Mexico.
Yeah.
Go south of the border.
Yeah. I think they had one scheduled and they had something was going on. They had to move it out of there because of fires or something was happening. I forget. But, no, somewhere else.
How could you do this? Have maybe a couple of teams in Mexico?
Could. I don't know if they'd have them, but they could play a game there. I mean, you got Houston.
No, I'm the same. You can expand into Mexico. You could have a couple of franchises there.
Yeah. I don't know if they will.
You could.
You could.
It'd be a new market for them
A new
if they
market.
can justify it. I don't know if they could really expand into Canada because, after all, I don't know if you're going to have the same support for an NFL team. And I don't mean that they wouldn't support it. I mean, you need numbers.
Right. I mean, Toronto for basketball, you're filling, 18,000 seats? Football,
Basically, when they're not
football's 8 times at 50, 60,000
when they're not
seats.
watching the Maple Leafs, they're rolling over and they're watching the Raptors. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically could be the same crowd. Watching some baseball, one day we're watching some NBA. We're rolling over here. They can recycle. You need a lot more for football. You got to fill a stadium, and
8 times.
you've got the Canadian Football League, which, by the way, football is like the second sport. And well, maybe not for long, but it's the second sport in Canada.
I think there's a couple Marshall guys on Canadian rosters, but they're on ESPN. A lot of
Yeah.
times they're on.
Right.
3 downs to make a first down in that 100, 25
Look,
yard end zone.
my
is
ESPN
kinda neat.
Plus subscription will get used again for this.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
watch
go.
it for a week.
There you go.
A week.
Yeah. But, I mean, here's a guy from Huntington who comes back in August and does a camp. He may come back with a ring.
Never know.
It would be nice.
And it's really cool because, again, this is a league at one time was on par with the NFL, and then television money.
Right.
Television money changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, can't compete. So you're a professional league. You've been around a long time too.
But
you play a different style, but you don't have the stadiums that the NFL has. You don't have the revenue streams the NFL has. You don't have the global brand the NFL has. Does the NFL really have a global brand though, other than maybe Super Bowl time?
I don't know.
I mean, they're selling Wembley out, right?
Yeah, because there's.
But they care more
some
about
things
what
that happen. There's a lot of empty chairs when you look at.
they care
stadiums
more
now.
about what Liverpool than they care about the Cowboys.
Yeah. So
Did I say it
guess
right,
somewhat
Liverpool?
Liverpool's one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly if that's it, but it'd be nice to have one tonight.
We're mandated to actually watch soccer at our company.
Are you?
We're mandated. Yeah, it's in the company handbook.
Are you glued to World Cup?
All the time. All the time. Yeah, you didn't know that. It's so when the boss comes over, hey, did you see the game on the pitch?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sure did.
The Americans did. Americans get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
I don't tell him I said this, but I called the boss a poser the other day to his face.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he was talking to Chris Grossi, and he said I leaned over and said poser.
He wants.
Don't tell him I said that.
He's probably going. Yeah, Grant. Paul will be down there to do a story.
Yeah.
He'll be down there this week.
He's like, Dave Walsh full time on the show, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We got that.
Get ready. You might be here a lot more without me. More on the way. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Member FDIC.
Now, back to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're coming to you today from the Union Pub and Grill. Paul Swann and Dave Walsh with you on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. So basketball season's over, and it's going to begin again soon.
Right.
And for those few people who are living life in the gymnasiums watching practice, it never stopped.
No.
But
A little bit of renovation going up here some more, I
Yeah.
understand. And then
You see any of
pictures
that yet?
Not yet, but then you see pictures of Elmore the other day. He's in a Pacers jersey.
Right.
He was he's out getting looks.
He's all over the place. But, yeah, have you seen that they've got some wall graphics up? They're trying to spruce the place up a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, facilities matter.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you bring somebody in there and they're going, it shows they care. I think it is. They show they care.
Okay, so Conference USA.
Right.
You know how the pod system worked.
They brought it back.
They brought it back. Yeah, Grant did some good work on the Herald Dispatch. We got to acknowledge that.
Are they going to do it again? I mean,
Yeah, they're going to do it again.
Why?
Because they're going to give it a second year.
What did are they going to tweak it? Or I
I
saw
don't
it, but
think,
I couldn't find
I don't think they're going to tweak it.
I mean,
I think they're going to roll with it again. The problem here was it doesn't work if what happened like it did this last season.
Right.
I mean, everybody went 2-2 in the first pod.
Right.
You don't have a super team.
Right. No, Marshall has a great one, and in the pod they could have run. They ran the pod, I think, lost once. The only highest they could get was 6th. That's as high as they could get.
If you've got a super team in Conference USA, it protects that team.
Right.
It's great. But this, again, is based on a RPI system and not a BPI.
Right.
This is not going to work.
And
Now, if it does work, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to acknowledge the fact that I was wrong.
Judy, I was wrong.
I was wrong.
But I still think, as you have said, on Sunday when the committee is sat down and do their 64 teams or 68, whoever won that Saturday night game for a championship is going. Everybody else, no. I still think,
I think you got to get eyeballs on Conference USA.
You think you're going to be more than one bid league, and it didn't work.
No, you have to have eyeballs on Conference USA. How do you get eyeballs on Conference USA? One, you have to have television exposure.
Right.
Two, you actually have to have some teams that are winning and winning out of conference.
And Western Kentucky beat Syracuse was it Western? Somebody won at Syracuse. Old Dominion wins at Syracuse.
You got to have.
They lost one game,
right.
Nothing.
You got to have eyeballs on Conference USA.
Right.
But I don't know. It's not going to hurt. This isn't going to hurt anything. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because you got to. If Marshall's in 5th or 6th again, you're going to see Florida. The 2 Florida schools come through again. North Texas and somebody, and it's going to seen them already, and the chance to really help yourself doesn't come.
And you can't have if you're improving towards the end of the season, and you've got an opportunity to maybe win some games,
which they were doing,
and you can't though because now you're put into a pod, so you're locked. So you could be playing your best basketball, then you get a first round bye. That helps you.
Right.
Instead, the system is going to protect those
right.
teams from those late season upsets.
I think Marshall went 6-1 down the stretch, but let's say you had the 4 this year. They play each other and they all go 2-2. That didn't hurt anybody. Hurt their tournament chances, but hey, they're still going to be 1 through 4, and they're going to get a double bye in the tournament. And as I'm sure Jeff Jones knew last year going into the tournament, I better be in that Saturday night game. I'd better win it, or we're not going anywhere. And they didn't. They didn't. And Danny, they got beat in the quarters, and the CIT came along and they took it because they had the home games. But he knew. He knew. And then look, I think a prime example is Kermit Davis, Middle Tennessee, a year ago, wins the league, got beat in the first round of the tournament. Got nothing. He goes to Mississippi, finishes 6th in the SEC, and he's got a bid. Now, they lost.
But you still get a bid.
But he got in.
That's the thing. You got a bid. You got in the tournament.
Right.
And that's the important thing. You can get in the tournament.
If you get in, anything can happen.
Right. You can win a game.
Yeah.
And it's all good. Because you have a chance. In basketball, you have a chance to get in tournament.
Right.
But if you're a one-bid league, and I appreciate Conference USA trying to do something, but I don't think this is the answer.
No.
I don't
see anybody
adjusting
else
the schedule
to do that either.
Adjusting the schedule to make the best teams play each other towards the end is a novel idea, but you got to have a super team. You got to have someone win that pot out.
Somebody's got to be there, and it was just Old Dominion was, but it was there's nobody head and shoulders dude, we're playing for second. There wasn't one out there. Everybody was tied for third or something, and it just didn't work. I mean, we're shaking our head at the pod games going Danny goes, well, it was good because we got to rest. It was bad because we went 6-1, and the best we could do was 6th or 5th.
Right.
And we got one bye, and then they draw a game, they win, then they draw Southern, miss, and gone.
Marshall's schedule was Marshall's biggest downfall.
Right.
And a lot of that was self-inflicted.
Right. Yes. Everybody's curious to how the schedule comes out this year for basketball. Haven't heard yet. We know there's a doubleheader up in Cleveland.
See, I don't like these extra, these exempt tournaments. I don't like those. You're trying to get some more games, and you know what? Maybe just play.
And they get that exempt tournament, and it's like the 3 teams that come here are like
they're nobodies.
Who?
And I don't mean that in derogatory manner,
but they are.
They're nobodies.
Right. And they had their money games. They went to Maryland, got hammered.
They're home games. That's what they are. They're home games.
Yeah. They went to Maryland, a couple of road games, and Ohio U, which had a so-so year, beat them terribly up there early in the season. So it's like, what's going on here? I mean, it's like you say in football. It's one thing to schedule them. At some point in time, you got to win one. You got to start winning a couple to go like, yeah.
Now,
so this year, our second week in football, guess what? We'll be talking big time about Boise. That's one. If they win, watch out. If they lose, the Access Bowl, bye-bye. Bye-bye. UCF's to lose or Boise's to win.
You have a better opinion of this than I do.
Yeah. Well, when football gets here and we start going that week, I will run with it. They're going to be that's for the Access lead until UCF kicks off. Because UCF, they're their darlings right now. And if that quarterback comes back, that horrible knee injury, if he comes back, they're going to be awfully hard to beat.
They should be. And by the way, even though I said they were nobodies, Hofstra was really good.
Yeah. But you know what?
Mount St. Mary's, that was a blowout for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I think if Hofstra, if I remember right, in their tournament got beat, and I don't think they got a bid either.
Yeah, North Carolina A&T State University.
Oh.
I mean, it's a good money game for them.
Yeah. Yeah. They got some money, but it's like, as they say, as you have put it, does it enhance your resume or your, what do you call it, picture of work, as they did the announcers, like, your work in progress or your picture you've painted is like beating those teams really made the committee sitting there and go like, man, we got to think about Marshall.
Beating Hofstra, Mount St. Mary's, and North Carolina A&T State did not do anything for the resume.
And the committee room is going like, I don't think so.
The rest of the schedule, though, I had no problem with. You play Glenville, you play a West Virginia Wesleyan, you play those
were
schools.
your exhibitions.
Yeah, you play those. You play Eastern Kentucky because that makes
your
sense.
rivals.
That makes sense geographically.
Them,
and
Toledo,
you know
Moorhead,
what?
Ohio.
William and Mary, yeah, sure, play them. That makes sense.
Oh.
I will put that on the schedule. Duquesne.
As soon as they got done with William and Mary, guess what happened? Their coach got let go.
Ohio, put that on the schedule. Toledo, yeah, play that. Moorhead, play that. Akron, yeah, play that.
Yeah.
And you got Texas A&M on the schedule, and you get Virginia on the schedule, and then you get into your conference.
Well, you know, Virginia, and guess what? The national champs you played.
Right. Those conference games made sense, and then you're in this situation where you're going to go on the road. You're going to play Maryland, and that's a great get. And so you got to go through Hofstra, Mount St. Mary's, and North Carolina A&T State. Does not enhance your resume. On the other hand, though, it's a basketball game, so go watch the Herd play Hofstra University.
Right. Because Mr. Elmore's, as it got to be at the end of the year, every time he took a floor and took a shot, he set a record.
Yeah, on the one hand, not a fan of playing Mount St. Mary's. On the other hand, I'm going to go see Marshall play Mount St. Mary's and not have a problem with it.
Right.
But as far as resume, it just, you got to work on the schedule a little bit more.
I think Danny's trying to do some things. The doubleheader in
He
Cleveland,
learned.
Yeah. But Danny's big thing is, hey, when you go in there, you're entertained. I think one of the best games I saw this year is when they played Glenville in that exhibition. Both teams were in the hundreds.
Right.
And I really didn't care who won because I just enjoyed them going up and down the floor. Not many whistles, and they're just launching. They were just launching, and it was fun to watch.
Right. As a head coach, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
The scheduling got him a little bit.
That 1 week got him.
That's it. The schedule got him.
Yeah. Because remember that night he said, hey, I'm sorry. They're 19-20. We lost our wheels. And then they had the break, got their wheels back, and you saw what they did down the stretch. But that Western Kentucky, and when they went down south and got pounded, that proved costly.
They went from Western Kentucky to Louisiana Tech to Southern Miss.
Right.
And I'm
remember,
sorry.
Southern Miss was ugly, wasn't it? That's a 50-pointer.
Right, it was. And here's what you do. You don't play that Western Kentucky game. You find another game. You find another day to play that.
Right.
You look at,
I mean, they got stuck on a Monday. That's very seldom.
Right.
And it was almost like they played on Saturday and the following Monday, where I around played them
again.
again.
Look, you find a way to make that work, or you just tell the conference, look, you can't hose us like this.
And you think the conference, knowing what Marshall and Western Kentucky basketball means, they would do anything but make it a burden.
I think Western Kentucky maybe was not that easy to work with.
No.
That's what's been indicated. And again, you're playing Western Kentucky, then You're playing WKU, then FAU, FIU, and then you're going to play WKU on the road, and then you're going out. You're playing Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing you're taking a bus from Western Kentucky to Huntington, but the game was on the 12th, and then the next game in the pod was 17th.
And you're on the air. You're in the air.
You're playing Western Kentucky on the 21st of January, and then you got to go and play Louisiana Tech on the 24th.
Right. It's basically get home, get on a plane, and go. And then from there you went to Southern Miss, was still whatever, and then we know what happened at Southern Miss. I think it caught up with them.
I know.
Remember that night, we saw that score, and we just kind of went like, what happened? 50 points, really?
True. You just got to work the schedule a little bit better. But, and still you got to play it, though. That's the thing. You can't make an excuse out of that. You got to play the schedule.
Yeah.
And so the Thundering Herd plays the schedule. They're the CIT champions, and we're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back and wrap it up here from the Union Pub and Grill. Paul Swann and Dave Walsh with you on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Everyone has.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann, the 2019 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Best Talk Show on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Paul Swann and Dave Walsh with you here at the Union one final time. Don't forget, every Monday you can come down to the Union Pub and Grill in Huntington, and you can get $1.50 bottles. You can get $2 call shots, and, of course, you get us. Until 6.
That's quite a triple.
Yeah, that is quite
Like the
a triple. You get us.
Yes.
And you're ready to play some flag football. See, you've got your flag football shirt.
I was an observer.
You were observer.
I was smart. They didn't have our division.
Didn't want another concussion protocol to go through.
I told you I was a leader in that. We just didn't know what to call it.
Well, Marshall's record leader here in concussion protocol.
Exactly.
Man,
Do we have our insurance policies paid up? Because, we ran into a couple of guys by the name of Mel Long and Jack Lambert who did pretty well at Toledo and Kent State, respectively.
So let me ask you, what was it like playing with leather helmets?
It wasn't that bad. It was close.
Wasn't that bad.
I thought you were going to say it was like playing without a mask.
Well, I get that, too. I completely understand that as well.
But it's been fun. And then, a couple things while we're wrapping it up. You've got an AJG people in town, top junior golfers in Auburn Ashland. And coming up into the month, a big boxing thing with Travis Henshaw. I've got some phone numbers I can share with you, and hopefully you can get him on one day because he's an excellent fighter. He's a win away from going to Germany. And he just spent a week sparring with a guy from Youngstown that hopefully turned his career around. So
sell me on this. Why is this boxing good?
He's fighting for a title on the 29th.
Okay, what title?
WBF super middleweight. If he wins, he goes to Germany. He has to go to Germany to defend it.
Where does this title rank among titles? Because there are 50 of them.
I know. I don't think it's what it once was in terms of titles, how we used to watch it. But it's something. I mean, the guy from the commissioner has been here. I met him. He's from South Africa. He came over to see a fight. So, he's got a chance to fight for something. And it's a local guy. It's a local guy. We haven't had too many do very well.
We haven't had too many boxing events do
right
too
now,
well.
And right now, pretty much, boxing is done in Huntington. I mean,
why is that? Why is boxing done?
It's just that the UCFers came along and other issues, and I think – and, Paul, you look around 2019, how many things are there to do other than going to a gym and beat each other up? I mean, there's a lot of things you can do that's a lot safer than going into a gym. And UCF is, the cage and stuff. And I just cannot watch it. I just have a hard time getting into it.
See, and that's the thing. For me is I know a lot of people, this is all anecdotally, but a lot of people say, hey, I don't like boxing. I don't watch boxing. Hey, but I've watched MMA.
Yeah.
It's completely different now. It's what younger people are watching.
And it's on
if
every
they
channel.
watch.
It's on every channel. And I went to Ashland one time for a show. In the first bout, the guy won the bout by a decision called a rear naked choke.
Oh, yeah.
And I went,
what?
I said, that sounds like something you go to prison for, rear naked choke. And it was his hold. And then Jason Butcher, who moved up the line, he about broke a guy's arm off. There was this call for that. And I was just going, you have to understand it, and a lot of people don't. They did over there, but I didn't.
Well, when you get guys like Triple G just knocking fools out,
yeah,
boxing's not going to stick around long because that was the thing. I never really enjoyed a boxing pay-per-view, even when it was in its prime, because with a guy like Tyson, he would come in and just knock you out. And I've spent
pay
like $60, $70 to see a first-round knockout.
For maybe 30 seconds.
I don't need that.
And now the pay-per-views are still as expensive.
Yeah.
But who are you watching? I have no clue.
I'll say this, though.
I have no clue.
I enjoy, even though I don't know the names as well as I used to, because I used to be a big fight fan, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger. But I do enjoy watching boxing on ESPN Plus, Top Rank Boxing.
Yeah.
I like watching some of those fight cards, even though these are like, maybe lighter weights, middle weights. These aren't the heavyweights, because I was a big fan of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's enjoyable. I think it takes a little bit more of an investment from fans to get into it.
Yeah.
Because it's not fighting. It's boxing.
Yeah. And who are, like you mentioned, who are your names? Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, you mentioned Tyson and people like that. You had some names to draw,
right.
And now you're going like, who?
Yeah, because I was
there's so many.
There were some really big fights.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Oh man, I remember that one.
I still think that Marvin got robbed.
Yeah.
I mean, I really believe that. Yeah. Nobody knows what I'm talking about because they don't watch boxing anymore. What is he talking about?
And right after Buster Douglas beats Tyson in Japan,
right.
He is over here at the Golden Gloves making a visit, and here's a guy that 2 weeks earlier taken Tyson out.
It doesn't mean as much to be the champ anymore because the champ was a celebrity.
Exactly. And how many initials are out? You got WBA, WC, WF, and there's so many initials.
Yeah.
Out there.
I mean, when you were when you were the boxing champion of the world back in the day, you were on top of the world.
Exactly.
But of course, the personalities were better.
Right.
I mean, and there were more names. You always have to have a good villain if you're going to be the hero. And I think Muhammad Ali transcended because he had great villains.
Right.
Or, he was the great villain depending on.
As you said, there are villains out there now, but we don't know who they are or how to pronounce their name. We need a pronunciation guide on some of these people.
And right now, who's the biggest name in MMA?
Well, one of them that I know is jumped to WWE and now is taking time off for a family. And after that, I really don't know. And they're on TV all the time, UFC, Bellator, and stuff like that. And Ronda's gone, so I don't know who's out there. I remember Holly Holm got beat. I think she made a comeback, but I wouldn't know the first one outside of Conor McGregor.
And the thing is, when's the last time he's fought?
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in a while.
No, and the last time he fought, I think, was that a crossover? Is that his crossover to boxing? So
I wasn't paying for that.
No. And that was your another, what, $99?
I camped out. And I went to that and I paid, watched that. I was okay.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $100 for boxing. I'm not
doing
that.
Even though it did go the distance, like you say, I could spend $90, boom, and it's over.
I'm not paying $100 for a pay-per-view.
Nope.
Why would I do that?
No. I got better ways to spend my money.
I can make a lot of friends here with $100 at the Union Pub and Grill instead of spending it on a boxing pay-per-view.
$2 take you a long way.
$2 call shots, $1.50 domestic bottles all day, all night, every Monday here at the Union Pub and Grill. For Gabriel Sellards back in the studio, big fight fan. He's flyweight division, big fight fan.
Okay.
For the young Thundering Herd quarterback himself, Dave Walsh, I'm Paul Swann. This has been The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.